What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another War Within video. Hope you're all doing very well. Let's keep this train rolling, shall we? We're going to look at Rep Paladin today. And we are going to look at the two hero talent trees that are available to you as a Rep Paladin. You have Templar or Herald of the Sun. Two very good choices. I'll just say right at the outset, the TLDR, both these trees are good. Both of them look good thematically, the lore, like lore-wise. I feel like Blizzard has nailed it. This is sort of like the Frostfire Mage situation where it's just a good tree, DPS wise or throughput wise, and it also like looks good, sounds good, feels good. So I think Rep Paladin has had some of the best treatment in the War Within so far, especially with the new rework to their spec tree, which if you haven't seen my previous video on this, go check this out. I talk about all the changes that are coming to the new spec tree, including a brand new wings down here whenever you press Wake of Ashes. So go check out that video. We're going to talk about the hero talents today. I'm going to start with Templar, show you some gameplay, do Herald of the Sun, show you some gameplay. You know the drill. Okay. Let's look at Templar. This is essentially the Hammerdin build that when you think about sort of classic Paladin archetypes in other games and in Diablo, but in World of Warcraft, you know, you've got Hammerdin. What happens here? Wake of Ashes gets replaced with Hammer of Light for 12 seconds after it is cast. So you cast Wake of Ashes, and then you get this new ability called Hammer of Light. It costs 5 holy power, and it does a crazy amount of damage. Okay, that's what's happening here. Press Wake of Ashes, get a new ability, press that ability, call down some hammers. Okay? After casting Hammer of Light, you call down hammers again. You keep calling down more hammers. Okay? Crusader Strike, Hammer of Wrath, Blade of Justice extend the duration of this Shake the Heavens, hammers coming down buff that you have going. So you can keep calling down more hammers for a longer period of time. Templar's Verdict, Divine Storm, and Divine Hammer call down an Empyrean Hammer on a nearby enemy. So your 2 spenders, and then also the new cooldown that you have here. This is also Consecration. If you have Consecration, it will do the exact same thing. So you can, I think specking into Divine Hammer for the Templar build is particularly good because of higher calling. So again, just, down here, because of Hammerfall. Because you just want to call down as many hammers as you can. You just want to keep calling down hammers and doing damage to enemies, because not only are the hammers doing single target damage, they just hit individual targets, but when they crit, they will deal damage to 60% of that damage to nearby enemies. So you're also getting an AoE splash effect as well, which is really good. So the more hammers you call, the better it's going to be. Okay. Light's Deliverance. You get a stack of Light's Deliverance when you call down a hammer. Again, you want to call down as many hammers as possible. While Wake of Ashes and Hammer of Light are unavailable, you can consume 60 stacks of Light's Deliverance to cast an additional Hammer of Light free. So this is very cool. So you press Wake of Ashes, then you get to cast Hammer of Light. And then once those are on cooldown, you're building up these stacks. You get to 60 stacks, and then boom, you get another Hammer of Light for free, which does a whole bunch of extra damage. So very, very good. The middle part's really, really good. Let's keep doing the rest of these talents. This is a defensive node or utility node. Divine Steed can last longer, give you more movement speed, or you can receive less damage from Blessing of Sacrifice and get movement speed each time the target takes damage. So I love that. I love anytime a DPS can help heal or keep other people alive. I think that's a very powerful effect. So Bonds of Fellowship feels really good to me. Hammer of Light applies judgment to its targets and increases your haste by 15%. One thing that's really important to understand: Hammer of Light, which is the thing you get after Wake of Ashes, is a spender. It's a spender. It's a spender. It's a spender. So if you have judgment on the enemies, when you use it, you'll do more damage with it. So a very common rotational thing would be like to cast Divine Toll before you cast it's very easy to do it that way, right? Start the fight by pressing Wings, then use a Divine Storm, then cast your Divine Toll into a Hammer of Light. That's a really good little combo you can pull off. And of course, Hammer of Light is going to then apply Judgment itself once again, so you get another Judgment effect after you've consumed your Hammer of Light, which is really, really great. Okay. Hammer of Light instantly calls down 2 Empyrean Hammers when it's cast, or Divine Toll grants up to 100% increased damage to your next 3 judgments when striking only 1 enemy. So this is really, really good for single target, right? That's going to Yeah, sorry, extra damage. I thought it applied additional judgment. Just gives you extra damage on those judgments, which is fantastic. Very, very good. This is a nice little passive. When you cast Wake of Ashes, you gain Shield of Vengeance. So Shield of Vengeance, of course, does damage based on how much damage it's absorbed. You get a little mini Shield of Vengeance there, which is fantastic. That's nice. Calling down an Empyrean Hammer has a 10% chance to reset the cooldown of Hammer of Wrath and make it usable on any target. A little bit better for single target, I would say. Casting Judgment increases the damage of the Empyrean Hammer by 10% for 10 seconds. This is really strong when you combo it with Divine Toll, because Divine Toll is going to cast 5 judgments, which is going to make your Empyrean Hammer do 50% more damage for 10 seconds. That's all the little hammers that are coming down. So you want to definitely do it in that order. Okay. Here's how this looks. I'm going to go Final Reckoning, Wake of Ashes. That's going to proc my wings. And then I'm going to use a Spender. And then I'm going to go Divine Toll. And again, my Wake of Ashes icon will get replaced with that other ability. So here we go. Wake of Ashes. There we go. It's been replaced. There's my Spender, Divine Toll. Then I cast Hammer of Light. And boom, the hammers start coming down, baby. All my other abilities are going to proc hammers as well. And again, every individual hammer that comes down, each individual hammer is going to do AoE damage as well, which is really, really good. We love that. I'm just going to hold on consuming my Divine Storm for now because I have a Divine Hammers rolling. They're consuming my Holy Power. There we go. We're done. We're going to use Wake of Ashes into a Spender. Now we have our Hammer of Light, and I just got a proc. I got a proc on Divine Purpose there. If you get a Divine Purpose proc, it also works with the new ability again because it's a Spender. So this build feels great to me. It feels wonderful. You're just calling down hammers. It doesn't really change the way you play the game at all, which I think is fantastic. That's really what you're looking for in a lot of these hero talent trees. It does not impose on your gameplay at all. It just does its own thing. Okay, that's all it does. It just adds more layers of damage on top. That's all it's really doing. There's my free proc right there. I got a free proc. You can see the stacks up here of Light's Deliverance going up. They accumulate really quickly, so that's pretty awesome. I need Divine Toll. That's inefficient. Very, very inefficient use of Divine Toll. I am sorry. I apologize for that. Again, you can see the stacks going up here. We have to get to 60 stacks. It's based on when you use a Spender. So here we go. We're going to do Wake of Ashes into our Spender. Watch how many stacks I get here. All the hammers. Sorry, it's based on the hammers that you're calling down. I'm calling down a lot of hammers right now. We're all the way up to 43 stacks. I was just at like 25 stacks. Now I'm up to 40. So you can see how quickly that little proc gets up there. Now we're going to get up to 51. We just have to get to 60. And it's going to call down a free one for me. We'll show you that in a second. There we go. 54. Gonna do this right now. We'll do final. There we go. Into Wake of Ashes. Wake of Ashes is gonna, then I'm gonna do my regular one, and then boom, I have 60 stacks again. I got my cooldown back, and I get to cast it again. So you can see how that works. It's a very strong tree, and it's got a lot of passive things going on, which is fine. There isn't really a whole lot of interaction except for the fact that you get a divine, or no, you don't actually get that. Sorry. This is the only one you want to think about, really. When you cast, you want to try and make sure you have a judgment on every enemy that you're going to hit when you cast the big Hammer of Light. That's what you kind of want to try and do because it's going to increase its damage by a lot. So very good. Love that tree. That's Hammerdin. That's Templar. Let's move over to Herald of the Sun. And I will talk about this and show you some gameplay. Oh, I just fell off. That noise was hilarious. Okay, Herald of the Sun is a very interesting tree. And at first glance, I thought to myself, well, this is a little bit more of a supportive tree. It doesn't have as much damage as Templar. And then I started looking at it and getting into the nitty gritty of it. And I think it's actually just fine. Let me move my notes over here. I think it's actually just fine. Here's how it works. You're going to press Wake of Ashes / Wings. Whenever you press either of those abilities, you put a Dawn Light on enemies or allies. From what I can tell right now, it prioritizes enemies if there are enemies nearby. So as a rep Paladin, that's of course what you're going to want to be doing. I'm not entirely sure how it works, but to me, I've noticed that whatever I'm targeting when I press my Avenging Wrath or when I press Wake of Ashes, of course, that is where the Dawn Lights are typically going to go. It's going to go onto enemies rather than on allies if I'm targeting an enemy when I press it. Okay. So you get these Dawn Lights, you're just putting dots on enemies. A really important thing to notice about the wording of this is that it does radiant damage. All of your Dawn Lights do radiant damage. That is going to proc your Searing Light. High Lord's Judgment and radiant damage have a chance to call down an explosion of holy fire. So unlike Templar, there is actually some immediate synergy with the tree here, okay? The other thing that's really important to understand is that if you press Avenging Wrath, you also get 4 Dawn Lights. With Templar, there is no synergy with Avenging Wrath. There is synergy with Wake of Ashes, of course. You press Wake of Ashes, then you get Hammer of Light. With Herald of the Sun, casting Wake of Ashes gives you causes your next 2 holy power spending abilities to apply a Dawn Light. So you get a Wake of Ashes proc with your Dawn Lights, and you also get an Avenging Wrath proc with your Dawn Lights. Now, if you turn your Avenging Wrath into a proc on Wake of Ashes, then I believe you get all of them at the same time. But you do essentially have the ability to make your Avenging Wrath a 30-second cooldown with the Wake of Ashes proc that you can get down here, right? Because of Radiant Glory. You can make your wings a 30-second cooldown, which means Sun's avatar will proc every 30 seconds. That is an advantage that this tree has over the other tree. There is no Avenging Wrath synergy with Templar, only a Wake of Ashes synergy. So the Templar thing is functioning every 30 seconds anyway, but so is Herald of the Sun, and then you get this additional proc because you can make your wings every... I want to just really emphasize this because people were talking about in the comments, I saw some talk about this where like, oh, both of these trees are like the exact same. They both benefit from taking a 30-second wings with Radiant Glory. That's not true. Herald of the Sun gets an extra bonus because you get 4 Dawn Lights from your Avenging Wrath. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking about that now. Okay, important to understand that. The Dawn Lights do AoE. They do radiant damage. They also do AoE damage. Basically at the bottom here it says 10% of Dawn Light's damage radiates to nearby enemies. Okay, which is great. Now we also have Eternal Flame, which replaces your Word of Glory. To me, this is the only real problem with the Herald of the Sun tree, is that you kind of have a dead talent here. From a DPS perspective, okay, you have a dead talent because Eternal Flame, you don't cast that to do damage. You know, Shake the Heavens is the other talent on the Templar side that's in the exact same spot. So we're going to look at the numbers in a second, DPS wise, but it's kind of annoying that you sort of lose a talent here as a rep paladin. I'm not sure if they're going to like buff this in some way. I feel like they probably should. But maybe it could be, instead of Eternal Flame, it should be like, have a choice note here where it's like every 4th final verdict that you use calls a Dawn Light or something. Like you're guaranteed to get a Dawn Light. I don't know, something like that would be kind of cool. Every 5 seconds, your next Dawn Light's damage or healing is increased by 5%, stacking up to 10 times. So you're basically always going to get a good benefit out of this. You're going to get, I would say 5, 10, 15, 20, 20. You're going to get probably the full benefit of this, I would say, because you're going to cast wings every 30 seconds, which is going to proc a Dawn Lights for free, so you can get a bonus there. You might get other Dawn Lights other ways, though, so we'll have to see. While a Dawn Light is active, your holy power spending abilities are increased by 10%. I think that's just standard. You're going to take that. Dawn Light reduces the movement speed of enemies and increases the movement speed of allies. I love this, actually. I love being able to boost the movement speed of allies. That's really good. Or you can get flat movement speed for yourself, and you can get big movement speed if you're brought low. More of a PvP thing. Aurora is really good. After you cast Wake of Ashes, you gain Divine Purpose. You get a free Divine Purpose proc, which is awesome. Really love that, because then you can immediately use a spender. Remember, when you press Wake of Ashes, your next 2 holy power spenders are going to apply Dawn Light. So you get to immediately get a Dawn Light going because of Aurora, which is really good. Critical strike chance of Hammer of Wrath, Divine Storm up by 10%. Okay. Hammer of Wrath and Divine Storm critical strikes cause the target to burn for an additional radiant damage. So again, more radiant damage burn, which means more potential proccing on Searing Light over here in the corner. Okay. So that's really, really good. And again, you're getting a lot of dot damage going out, which is kind of interesting for Rep Paladin. This is a huge talent. I think maybe the most important talent in here besides the obvious like proccing of Dawn Lights. Divine Storm and Hammer of Wrath have a 15% chance to cast again. This used to be like a legendary in Shadowlands. This is how important this is. I'm telling you right now, this is a huge talent. 15% chance to proc again. If you get an additional proc of Divine Storm, of course it's doing extra damage, but it has a chance to give you a Divine Purpose proc over here, right? Anytime you use a spender, you're getting all the procs that have to do with spenders. So if I actually had this Talentude, I don't know why I don't. Let's just get rid of this right now and we'll do this. If I have Tempest of the Lightbringer, that free Divine Storm that I procced will send another Tempest of the Lightbringer out as well, which is super cool. Yeah, there's a lot of really good synergy here. Hammer of Wrath, having a chance to cast again, will generate holy power for you because it's a holy power generator. Very, very cool. I love Second Sunrise. I think it's very, very good. Sun's Avatar, as I said, during Avenging Wrath, you are linked to your Dawn Lights and you get 4 Dawn Lights for free when you press Wings. But when we press Wake of Ashes, we're going to get Wings for free. So let's just see how that looks. Let's see how it looks. Let's see how it plays, okay? Regular rotation here. Go Wake of Ashes. Boom. I'm linked to my Dawn Lights already. There we go. I got a free Divine Purpose proc. We're doing lots of damage here. So my worry with this tree was that the damage is going to be really low, but that's just not the case. It's just not the case, which is awesome. You also get a haste buff from Solar Grace. So you can see I have a 16% haste buff right now. So this thing is awesome. You get a consistent haste buff all the time. All the time you're going to have this sucker, okay? There's my Wake of Ashes. I'm connected to my Dawn Lights where we get those laser beams. So you don't get any new ability, but you do get all these extra little procs, and you're doing a lot of extra radiant damage, which I think is very, very good, and has the potential to proc Searing Light for you, which is just, you're just always going to be burning enemies, basically. Whenever you crit enemies, you're going to also put an additional burning dot on them, which is really, really cool. Oh, I cast that really late. That was a mistake. See if we can extend this. We are extending it. I have my Divine Hammers running right now. They're burning my holy power down. That was actually sick. That was a really cool. I should have done that earlier, but anyway, the point is it doesn't matter. This tree is definitely more passive, I would say, than the Templar one. They're both actually fairly passive, but this one's just cool, man. You're just constantly burning enemies, and I think you can try and drag these beams through as many enemies as possible. That might be the only real gameplay loop that you're kind of looking at, but you can see I've never stopped burning these enemies. Like, look at, I still have these enemies burning for this entire time. It's crazy how long that lasts. Here we go. We're gonna cast Wake of Ashes, and boom, we get another proc there. Now I'm supposed to be linked to I'm supposed to cast 4 Dawn Lights during Sun's Avatar, but I don't think that's happening with my Wake of Ashes conversion. So we're gonna actually change talents here. We're gonna get rid of Radiant Glory and put it just somewhere else. Let's just put it over here. Let's see if this changes how many Dawn Lights I get to spawn when I pop my Wake of Ashes, my Avenging Wrath. So now I've separated my 2 cooldowns. Wake of Ashes and my Avenging Wrath are separate cooldowns now. So let's see how that goes. It's over here. Let's put it over here. One thing I do want to say, in a single target situation, if you apply multiple Dawn Lights to a single target enemy, it just extends the dot. It doesn't add like a stack of the dot. It just extends the Dawn Light on that enemy and makes it last a really long time. I was testing it on a turnip a minute ago, and I had like a 45-second Dawn Light on an enemy. So you can get a really long lasting dot. Let's see if this gives me 4 stacks of Dawn Lights as opposed to the 2 that I was getting when I was Wake of Ashing. So let's go like this. That's only looks like 2 again. Let's pick a different target. So I'm not sure if it's bugged. It could be bugged, guys. I'm not sure. It only seems to be applying 2 stacks of the Dawn Lights to my enemies. I'm not entirely sure. Obviously, I probably had a stack of Dawn Light on myself, but I'm not sure what's going on there. I will try and submit a bug report to Blizzard and let them know that this does not seem to be working the way that I think it should be working anyway. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? Either way, that is Herald of the Sun, and that is Templar. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Which one do you like better? I think they both have incredible visuals. I think thematically, they both fit Paladin very, very well. I think they're fantastic. The only dud I would say for Herald of the Sun is that it feels like Eternal Flame is a bit of a dead talent. Otherwise, though, you do get the added benefit of being able to proc your wings with your Wake of Ashes every 30 seconds, which is a small advantage that Templar does not have. But the Templar one is very, very good as well. Tons of damage from Light's Guidance. Really, really love both of these trees. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you so much again for watching. Love you all. I'll see you in the next one.